Welcome to another episode of Wealth Connections Live, the podcast where we gamify growth, mindset, and money with today's top innovators and thought leaders. I am your host, Chief Solutionist David Don Hobley, here with our beautiful co-host, digital success strategist, Jay Ma. Today's guest is a transformation strategist, executive coach, and the subconscious rewire specialist behind the ROI Accelerator, and our very special guest trainer for the upcoming Entrepreneurs Success Accelerator, Jeff Faldalen. For over 30 years, Jeff's been the go-to coach for marketers, entrepreneurs, and business leaders ready to break through the surface level noise and finally unlock their next level of impact, income, and internal alignment. He's not just here to talk about strategies. He's here to show us why success starts from within. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. Welcome. Thanks for having me. Wow, what an introduction.
Welcome, Jeff. Would you like to add anything onto that before we get started here?
No, just about all rewiring what's going on inside of us. And I like saying this quote a lot. If we do not make our unconscious conscious, it will control our lives, and we will call it fate. Life as I am, so it is, right? So it's really like what Dave talked about is it's our inner world that creates our outer world.
Inner world that creates our outer world, and that is going to be part of our discussion today. Yes. So let's get started with every entrepreneur's, the elephant in the room for many entrepreneurs, which is that term hustle. So many of us are really stuck in this work harder mode. It's like this loop that we just keep running, that rat race, and just keep working harder. So what's really going on there?
Well, there's a number of things going on, right? And some of it has to do with everything we do is literally strategies. And the more we can get in touch with what those strategies are, then we can start looking at how they benefit us. We do not do anything that doesn't benefit us. And so some of us have been conditioned to believe that we have to work harder, or we have other narratives that we created within ourselves that we are overcompensating for. And so out of that, we end up developing strategies that support us in a certain way. But the question is how is it supporting us? So for example, the hustle aspect. A lot of people, if they grew up in an environment where they were continually told that they don't matter, they're not enough, or not going to amount to anything, or stuff like that, then what we'll do is we can create a strategy that the only way for me to find acceptance and find importance in my life, then I really have to hustle really, really hard. Actually, high achievement is a trauma response. Mm-hmm. And they're they have an insatiable appetite for producing things, but the thing that they're really looking for is finding self-worth within themselves. So it's that's a great question in asking, how is this supporting me? Because we do not do anything that doesn't support us. And I ask all my clients this many, many, many times, is how does that serve you? And they're like, well, it doesn't serve me. And it's you would not do it if it didn't serve you. Your subconscious is a goal-seeking mechanism on steroids. But the issue is it's going to serve you the way it believes you want to be served, which is why it's important for us to figure out how to get clear for us. It's important for us to get clear about how we want it to serve us other than the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so being on this entrepreneurship journey, being online, I also noticed that it's it can be a continual grind. But at the same time, sometimes we just keep doing it and not realizing that we might be in this misalignment stage, right? So
for sure.
What are some of the early signs that someone's not just tired, but burnt out from misalignment in this hustle loop here?
Yeah, great question. And so there's so many things that are operating subconsciously, right? And the part we have to ask ourselves is is this congruent with who I am? And for some of us, for a lot of people, we were never really given the permission to question what to believe, right? We just took on beliefs that were handed to us, and therefore we operate from those beliefs. But the issue is we never stop and question it. We've all heard the story of the mother teaching the daughter how to how to cook the ham, and then the mother cuts the ends of the hams off, and the daughter says, "Why do you cut the ends of the hams off?" And she's like, "Well, we've always done it that way." And she's like, "Well, let me call my mom." And it goes on down the road, asking grandma and great grandma, and they finally get to the oldest one, and she says, "Well, that's easy, honey. The reason we cut the hams off is because we were so poor we weren't able to buy a bigger pan, so I always cut the ends of the ham off so it would fit in the pan that we had." But yet that's the way everybody did it from that point on. And so a great thing that we have to look at is it's not what to believe, it's how to believe. And so I, using my own experience, like I had a very successful career in jewelry, and out of that, I had certain beliefs as to this is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. But I started having a lot of tension. I started having a lot of frustration. I had a lot of things started breaking down in my career that I felt like I had to force through it because this is all I knew. Yeah. But me looking back on it now, I can see that what was happening was like, and I know this is going to get a little woo-woo for some people, and that's okay. But it's just like my higher self was going, "You're not supposed to be in this anymore." And so me looking back at it, what was happening was my intuition was telling me, "You're not aligned with this anymore." But I kept trying to force it because it's all that I knew how to do. And I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? But as fate would have it, right? Like here I'm a coach now, and I was coaching back then, but I didn't even know that that's what I was supposed to be doing. But I had to have a catastrophic breakdown, like wake up one day and I had over 1,500 auctions in my email box to really get my attention of going, "You're not supposed to be going down this road anymore." And if we are trying to convince ourselves of something that we're not supposed to be in, we are going to be burning up a lot of energy. And this is where we're going to feel constantly tired. We're going to feel frustrated. We're going to feel a lot of self-doubt, because if we don't have clarity, we have confusion. And the issue with confusion is what's going to interpret that confusion is all of our doubts, all of our inadequacies. Our imposter syndrome is going to come alive and start screaming very, very loudly. So these are different things for us to look at when am I incongruent and am I in alignment with what it is that I'm doing now? And of course, the other part that we get into once we start questioning that is that our environment, we have conditioned our environment to see us a certain way. We start changing that certain way, we're going to get resistance from our environment, right? Mm-hmm. So getting in touch with who you authentically are is going to be very uncomfortable. Just telling everybody this, right? But the uncomfortableness is you're actually growing, right? And like I've coached some really high level network marketers that ended up in the hospital because they were representing a company that was out of alignment with who they were. And so your subconscious is a very highly moral being. And if you're operating out of congruent with what is aligned with you, you are going to have lots and lots of breakdowns.
That's a really big point there that I've also experienced, because being in the network marketing space, there's times when you get into a company and then something happens later there, you find out some other things, and then all of a sudden we have to stop and question, is it still in alignment? So at certain points in our life, I also believe that it could be maybe in alignment at a certain juncture, and then maybe we evolve and then figure out that there's some other uncomfortable change that we have to make, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah. So I know you talk a lot about the rewiring the mind. So do you have any thoughts on that, without sounding too woo, but also maybe some tips for our audience on that take?
Yeah, for sure. I got lots of things on that one. So probably the biggest thing that I would recommend everybody start doing is start inventorying your thoughts, right? Like we don't even really think about what we're thinking about. And because it's so automatic, right? And we have literally mastered certain thought processes. And, neuroscientists are saying that by the age of 35, 95% of our life is automatic, right? And so every single thought process we have is automatic until we start interrupting it. And a really great way to do this, and your subconscious doesn't process things negative or positive. So if you keep saying to yourself, I always end up doing this to myself. I always end up doing this to myself. This always happens to me. Your subconscious isn't going to negate it because it doesn't process things that way. It's going to go, okay, cool. If you say this is the way it's always going to be, then guess what? This is the way it's always going to be. So if we have a negative thought process that we automatically play out, a great way to interrupt it is by saying up until now, right? Because when we say up until now, so I always make a disaster of certain situations. Like if somebody says that, right? What we would say in front of that and say up until now, I've always made a disaster of certain things up until now. What happens is that interrupts the thought process, and it starts making your subconscious start looking for different alternatives as opposed to the automatic one that keeps creating the outcome that you don't want to create. Another thing is meditation. Meditation is mission critical. I'm a huge advocate of it because in order for us to change the automatic, we have to get into the state of mind, into the brain frequency that created it. And a lot of our thought processes that we created were when we were younger. So it's either probably most of it, not delta, but theta and alpha brain frequencies. So when we go inside, we're going into alpha, we're going into the frequencies that are going to allow us to be in that frequency that created the program originally, and so that it becomes more malleable and we become more suggestible in the slower brain frequencies. So that, and then journaling. Obviously, journaling is another one that I'm a huge advocate for.
I really like all of those tips. Meditation, sometimes we get into, again, that cycle where we're just continuing going and going and going, and until we either are forced into a break, health-wise, or some other reason. And then those are times when it's like, oh, our body's telling us something that we need to really slow down and take that time to reflect. So why not do it while we go, right?
And you said something that's really, really important. Your body is a biofeedback mechanism, right? And the more in tune you are with your body is communicating a lot of things to you if you have the awareness to allow it to teach you what it wants to be heard.
So I'm going to use that phrase up until now. So up until now.
Up until now, yes.
So I love it. So as far as like money wise, entrepreneurship, we have to, it's also we live in this human reality where money is a part of our reality. And you did mention that we don't have a money problem, but we have an identity problem or belief problem. Can you walk us through that part of it?
Yeah, for sure. Because like the data is out there, and anybody that's done any research into this, one of the first things that's going to stand out is 85% of lottery winners file bankruptcy within 5 years of winning the lottery. Right? The sudden wealth syndrome is real. Why is that? Is because it is so uncomfortable when you have that amount of money come into your life that what happens is it really challenges your self-image. And so we create the amount of wealth in our life. It's a reflection of how we see the worth that we bring to the world. And this is like, I'm actually in the process of working on something else right now. And one of the things that I'm seeing more and more is the starving coach syndrome. Like the starving artist syndrome, I'm calling it the starving coach syndrome, is because it has nothing to do with if they're a good coach, has nothing to do with whether their intention is pure or if they have great things to offer. What happens is that they are going, everybody, not just coaches, but artists, everybody is going to negotiate with life based on how they see themselves. Right. And if I don't believe what I bring to this world is of worth, then I'm not going to be able to convince anybody else to believe that it has worth either. This is like, I'll give you an example of a client that I had. The guy met me, and he was living in a basement because he was in the down spiral of his pattern. He would create huge amounts of money. Like the year before he met me, he made over $700,000. Then he went down and made about $35,000, and he was living in the basement of a house. That's when I met him. And what we did is we went back into his timeline, which is a subconscious process I do with people, and discovered that he made this decision that money was more important than him. Because his dad was an entrepreneur and working all the time. He wanted to play catch with his dad, and his dad was always leaving to go make money and attend to his businesses. And so he made the decision that money was more important than him. And so think about that. You attract a lot of money into your life. Well, you don't want to attract something into your life that you believe is more valuable than you. So then you would push it away, right? There's also patterns where people feel that they need to really work hard and create exterior pressure in order for them to get them to be motivated to perform a certain way. So yeah, the amount of money that you have in your life is a reflection of how you see yourself. Absolutely.
I definitely, it's something that I also reflect on during different parts of my journey too. And I noticed that with some of the mentees that I work with also. So I'm really excited to learn more from you through this next, season, which is, as you know, I left my full-time position after 20 something years. So it has been a little bit out of my comfort zone, not maybe a lot. So working working through that mindset shift, the identity shift, because we've given ourselves that identity for so long. And then now it's all of a sudden, what are we going to do with ourselves? Right. So I'm so excited to learn more from you. So I know you've come across a lot of entrepreneurs across different industry. What is the one mindset block that you see over and over the most?
It's deep. It's a deep subconscious level one. And it usually has something to do with I'm not enough or I'm not worthy. Like that's really, it doesn't matter what level. Like I've had conversations with 9-figure entrepreneurs. Wow. And they built that 9 figures from the standpoint of there's not enough. I'm not worthy or whatever. And so, and it's amazing. Like I work with many 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs, and it doesn't matter the level that they're at. They're still dealing with the same stuff. And the money doesn't make it go away. The relationship doesn't make it go away. The career doesn't make it go away. It has to come from within, and really being able to find this place that, and it's so simple. It's so simple, yet it is so profound. Like think about it. You're a little child and your dad comes home and you're excited to see your dad, right? And he's tired and he's exhausted and he got in a fight with his boss, and your parents had a little scuff before he went to work or whatever. So he comes home and he's lit up, like he's just in a bad mood. He's in a very unresourceful place. And that child runs up to him, not understanding any of it. And like, hey, daddy, I'm excited to see you. And dad just kind of brushes the child off and goes and grabs a beer or a soda or sits in front of the TV, whatever, just to kind of recompose himself before he engages with the wife and stuff, whatever. And that child, the subconscious takes everything personally. So that child has to make sense of that experience, and it says there's something wrong with me, right? And then once it does that, now it has that in its belief system. Now it starts compounding over time, and if it starts happening consistently, it just gets deeper and deeper within it. And then our conscious starts coming on the scene, and we start doing some different things to overcompensate for whatever it is that we believe. But it's really looking at, what is it that I believe about my worth? And see, when you are, just like with you, Jay, is that you were working for somebody else. And see, a lot of people get good at a career or a job working for somebody else, but they don't understand that when you go out on your own, you got to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And it's selling yourself that you really get in touch with, how do I see my worth?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I have this conversation with people? Because, and I don't want to deal with objections, all of these things, but all of this is filtered through how you see yourself. So if you come from a place like when I'm having conversations with people, and I get it, like we project onto people where we believe we're at. Like back in my jewelry days, I was really good at selling quarter carat diamonds because that's all I could afford, right? And someone would start talking to me about a carat or, a half carat or a carat diamond. I would almost literally talk them out of the sale because I was so uncomfortable selling them something that I couldn't afford. And so when I got into coaching, I went through the same phase of we're going to project onto people what we believe, our own perception of stuff. But I had to get to this place where I had to believe it was a moral obligation for me to do everything I could to get people to invest in themselves and work with me, because that's the only way I could support them in creating the changes that they wanted. I had to get to the place that I had a moral obligation. Because any conversation you're having with somebody, someone's trying to enroll the other person into believing what the other person believes. And so I had to have the belief system that if they don't invest in themselves working with me, they're going to continue living the life that they've lived. And obviously they're having this conversation with me because they want to change something. So it's everything. It's everything. How you see yourself is everything when it comes to enrolling somebody to invest into what it is that you offer.
Absolutely.
That was really huge right there. That's like the whole entrepreneurship.
Well, and I mean, we all know the stats, right? 9 out of 10 businesses fail, but we don't look at why. We don't look at the why do they fail. Right? It's their inner world. It's their inner world.
Yes.
And I have so many questions around that. Maybe we'll do a second part to this. Because you know how we want to charge people just what we think we can afford, right? So and then we attract that. That's a big conversation right there. So I know you're about to host a series of training that I'm so excited for, and for the people out there who are in alignment at this time with this, to delve into some extra, like these exact concepts. So without giving away too much, can you share with us what
I
people
would love
can expect from that experience?
It's going to be a treat.
Yes, I would love to. Yeah, so it's at the ESAGRP group, or ESAGRP.com. It's on the ticker tape on below here. This is my life's work, and this is going to. It's a challenge that I take people through. It's a 3-day challenge, and in that, it's what I call the ROI accelerator. And the reason I call it the ROI is because the R is about rewriting the programs that hold you back. Right. And to me, whatever you call God, divine, whatever that is, we've all been gifted with this opportunity that most people don't even really embrace how powerful it is. And that is the ability to choose. Right. And as a child, we didn't understand that we had this power. So we wrote some programs that aren't in alignment with what we want to create today. And we keep accessing this program that we developed in a time of our life that is not useful for who we are today. So I literally show you how to rewrite these programs inside of you to be in a congruent and aligned with what it is that you want to create today. The O is to optimize every area of your life so that you operate as efficient and as effective as possible in any situation within yourself. Tony Robbins says this a lot, and I really love. I didn't understand it when I first heard him say it, but as time's gone on, I've really embraced it, and that is. It's not that we are unresourceful. It's that we get into states that make us believe that we are unresourceful. And so the optimize aspect of it is getting you to that your optimized states becomes your new baseline, right? Like when you're in love and you're grateful and everything's happening good and you're feeling full of joy and gratitude, like the world could be falling down around you and you would still be in a great state, right? So but when you are stressed out and your body's full of cortisol and your immune system's broken down and your joints hurt and all that stuff, you seem to be more sensitive to the negative things of life, right? And again, that's where I say we don't see life as it is, we see life as we are. And so keeping yourself in an optimized state is mission critical when it comes to creating anything. And then the I is to be able to influence others to see you as the only logical choice, and it puts you in a category as one. You eliminate competition when you literally stand in your worth and understand there is nobody has been, is, or ever will be you. Like you are the only one that gets to deliver the message that you get to deliver. God put a dream inside of you that nobody else gets to experience. That's why I love the word inspire, because it literally means God breathed. Like you've been given inspiration that you have the opportunity to put something out there in a way that nobody else ever gets to do, right? And so I'm going to show you how to do programs or create courses. I'm going to show you some podcast stuff, how to use your voice, how to use your experience, how to turn your pain into purpose. Really stand in your voice, because when you own who you truly are, there's really no other competition, because nobody can be me. Nobody can be you, right? And when you own that, then you're going to attract the person that resonates with who you are. But so many people out there are parroting what somebody else did, which works, and I've done it myself. But when you really own your own voice and recognize the journey that you've been on is the very thing that's been part of the amalgamation process, if you will, to create this incredible message that you have to share with the world. Like me almost killing my sister in a car accident. Like that took me a lot of work for me to overcome the guilt of what happened with that. But in that experience, I was asked a question that forever changed my life. And that question was, do you know how you got here? And so every single choice, every single decision that we have made is what's put us in the situation that we're at currently today, right? Yeah. And so if we understand the strategies that we used to create the decisions and choices that we made that put us where we're at, then we can start reverse engineering and going, this is what I want to create, and what decisions and choices do I need to make that are going to allow me to manifest what it is I ultimately want to create. So if I was to summarize what we're going to talk about in this challenge, there's two things in life and two things only that determine what you're going to create in your life. Like a lot of people will tell you a lot of other things. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just going to cut to the chase and I read my book, get my book, and you'll see real quick that I'm not a fluff kind of guy. Mm-hmm. There's only two things in your life that determines what you're going to create, and it is your self-image and your actions. That's it. Mm-hmm. Period. End of story. And your actions are going to be a reflection of your self-image, right? Mm-hmm. And see, we're not afraid of life. We're not afraid of life. We're afraid of the emotions, mm-hmm. right? And the emotions are there, and the emotions that we're afraid of is what we associate with our past. And so mm-hmm. we get focused on not feeling those feelings, but what we do in the process of doing that, we keep recreating our past into the future, mm-hmm. right? And so this is what we're going to be talking about, is getting really clear on what it is that you want to create in your life, and then designing strategies that are aligned and optimized and congruent to make that a reality. Well, it doesn't matter if you're network marketing, small business owner, have a multi-million-dollar business. It doesn't matter. All of this is going to support what it is that you want to do. And I promise you, I will guarantee this, if you going through this challenge at the esagrp.com, you going through this challenge, I will guarantee you are going to be introduced to parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed.
Yes, for sure.
That
we're good about it. It's going to be
really, yeah. And even if someone has been doing the work, I think it's there's always room to grow and mm-hmm. to do a reset. So, yep. I'm if anyone's been watching this, if someone's watching this and you feel that your energy's been scattered and maybe your income's been unpredictable and you're not sure what to fix first, where can they begin?
Yeah. So great question. If you don't have clarity, you have confusion, right? And in confusion, you're burning up lots and lots of energy. Think of how much energy does it take to catch one rabbit? Now put 20 rabbits in there, and that's what confusion is, right? Like you're just burning up a lot of energy, and out of that, and I'm gonna, if I may, I have props that I use when I'm coaching people, but you can't see this. There you go. You can see it that way.
We see it.
So let's call this your energy vessel, okay? And each one of these levels represent your energy and where you're at, right? So down here is starvation. This is where we react. This is when you go to the grocery store hungry, you make very inappropriate choices. But the opportunity that you seek is up here. But in order for you to get from here to here, you have to let go of what keeps you down here, right? And so putting yourself in environments that allow you to expand. That what I'm going to tell you right here, it's going to blow you away, okay? Our environment is stronger than our willpower. Mm-hmm. Our environment is stronger than our willpower. And so we are homeostasis, which means everything balances out, right? Like if I had this full of ice water and I put it here, it eventually melt to room temperature. If it was boiling water, it would do the same thing. It would balance out to room temperature. And so most environments hold people small. Let me explain. That we have been indoctrinated with people that have taken risks and been disappointed, but because they didn't know how to navigate through that disappointment, what they want to do is they want to, out of good will and good intention, not let somebody else experience what they did. So they discourage people taking risks because they don't want to be disappointed. Mm-hmm. See, but what we're doing when we do that is we are holding people small. I don't want to tell this person that because I don't want to hurt their feelings. Just that statement in itself is saying I'm holding this person small and I'm the one that's going to determine what this person can handle and cannot handle, right? I do not roll that way. You are going to be put into an environment through this challenge that is going to call your greatness forward so that you will have no other choice but to stand in what you were designed to create within this time that you are on this planet, right? And so I would encourage everybody that is watching this to, first of all, invest in yourself. I guarantee you that you will be pleasantly surprised what you're going to discover about yourself going through this 3-day challenge. Yeah. But not only that, be the person that makes a difference in your environment by inviting more people to come to this. This is going to be, like I've done it a number of times and I've seen the impact that it has. And actually, the one that you're going to experience is going through this is going to be a whole upgraded version. It's been a minute since I've done this and learned a number of things that I really want, that I'm excited to share with everybody. But be the person that calls your environment forward. If there's people or family members or friends that you know have more potential inside of them and just haven't been able to unleash it or been able to tap into it or even able to recognize it, then this is going to be a challenge that will support them in finding out what it is that they're really meant to do with their lives. The question, how did you get here, is so important. And I want to leave all of you with this. We've all heard this quote: the 2 most important days in your life is when you were born, and the second one is when you figure out why you're here. I guarantee you, going through this challenge, you will figure out why you are here. And you will tap into something inside of you that was put there by divine, God, whatever you want to call that. And we will show you how to not only call it forward, but be able to expand it so that you can make an impact on this earth. It's a legacy move. So I encourage all of you to sign up for this because it's going to be a game changer for your life, and not only for your life, but for your family's life. And who knows how far it will go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing all that wisdom, Jeff. This one is my question is, I'm always like, I always love success stories. So do you have a recent success that you like? Is there a success that you remember that you had a hand in?
Yeah, I've had a few. Great question. There's two that stick out, and I think both of them are important. But I had one. She was a Canadian gal, and when I met her, she was referred to me by another a master hypnotherapist. Referred her to me.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Melina, and I started working with her, and she was doing about $200 a month. She was working as a librarian, and within 2 months of working with me, she was doing over $20K a month, building workshops and just literally living the dream of her life. And unfortunately, Melina passed a couple years after that. But the part that I'm super excited that I was just so grateful and felt so blessed to be a part of her living out her dream before she passed on. Another one was a guy by the name of Kevin. I worked with him. He was doing between $5,000 and $10,000 a month, working his business, and within about 3 or 4 months, he got it up to doing about $100,000 to $200,000 a month.
Wow,
That's amazing.
One little tweak, and it's not massive shifts. It's just little tiny tweaks. His issue was he was terrified of being in trouble.
Oh.
And when you start getting bigger, you start stepping up,
Yes.
taking more responsibility. And he didn't want to do that. And again, your subconscious is going to serve you the way it believes you want to be served. So he's just like, he's going to procrastinate. He's going to do all these things. We got that out of the way, and boom, it just unleashed him.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. It's also feels really good to be a part of someone's like success journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so grateful to be a part of this right here today. And I've listened to your podcasts a few times already.
Yes, me too. Powerful.
It's like playing in the subconscious mind. It's really great. Are you gonna be sharing that inside of the?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna be bringing it for this one. Yeah, I'm really excited, and really excited to meet everybody that decides to invest in themselves and really take their success seriously. And I would just leave everybody with the question of, if not now, when?
Oh,
If not now, when?
great.
Right?
When? Yeah.
It's because the other thing that I really want to make clear with everybody, the how shows up when your identity is ready to receive it.
Yeah. And I will add to that, if not who, then if not you, then who, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for all these gold nuggets, and we just can't wait to see you inside and see what unfolds in this next season. So where do people find out more again?
Yeah, just go to esagrp.com. And actually we'll be starting some trainings, getting everybody excited for the challenge. Tomorrow. Yeah. Yes.
And invite your friends.
Yes, invite your friends. Be the hero in your group of friends by inviting them to this, because they'll be glad that you did. Don't let your fears determine your future.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, this training for the next few weeks is free to you. Mm-hmm. We're going to be offering you some super high value training in the Entrepreneur Success Accelerator group. You can access through the URL that we've been mentioning, esagrp.com. Conversations are going to be deep. We're going to go deep and help you guys to make it to the next level. So Jeff, thank you so much for dropping the wisdom that feels like a gut check, but a breakthrough at the same time. We can't wait to see what unfolds with you during this whole next few weeks and on into the challenge.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on Wealth Connections Live.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'm excited to see what the three of us going to create. It's going to be magical. So everybody be blessed, and I will see you there.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you very much, Jay. We appreciate you for co-hosting the show. You're amazing and beautiful, and I'm looking forward to this next couple of weeks with you too. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, everybody, make sure you join that high value but free to you training for the next few weeks. Entrepreneur Success Accelerator with Jay, Dave, and Jeff Faldalen, Executive Coach Faldalen. It's starting tomorrow at esagrp.com. Wealth Connections Live is a gamified broadcast podcast. This means that you can earn virtual coins that will allow you to redeem them for free training and giveaways. So make sure you share the broadcast. Make sure you comment on the broadcast. Let us know if you're watching a replay or if you were live by commenting replay or live. And if you want some of those coins, comment coins, and we'll make sure we get some of those to you. So, and those will be redeemable for training in the future. We're so grateful for you joining us today. We appreciate you, and we're looking forward to you joining us on the next episode of Wealth Connections Live. Have a great one.